I've always been the reliable one, the steady one, the boring one. That's what my family called me anyway, right up until the moment I bought our childhood home out from under them. My name is Nancy, and this is how I finally stopped being reliable. Your brother's new venture is absolutely brilliant, my father announced, cutting into his steak with the precision of a surgeon. Content creation is the future. Max really knows how to spot opportunities. I nodded, pushing my green beans around my plate. The weekly family dinner ritual felt especially suffocating tonight. Max sat across from me, practically vibrating with excitement as he detailed his plans for a streaming empire. I've already got 10,000 followers, he said, waving his fork. Jake says we could hit 1 million by summer if we get the studio set up right. That's wonderful, honey, Mom cooed, reaching over to pat his hand. You've always been so creative. I took a long sip of wine, remembering the 3 failed businesses they'd already funded for him. The music production studio, the crypto mining operation, the influencer merchandise line that ended in a warehouse full of unsold hoodies. Actually, Dad cleared his throat, that's why we wanted everyone here tonight. We've made a decision about the house. My fork froze halfway to my mouth. We're going to remortgage, he continued. Max needs proper equipment for his LA studio. Professional lighting, sound setup, the works. It's a 6-figure investment, but that's what family does. The bank needs a co-signer, Max added, finally looking at me. Someone with a stable income history. The room went quiet. All eyes turned to me, reliable Nancy with her boring tech job and perfect credit score. You want me to co-sign a loan? My voice came out steadier than I felt. Against our family home? It's not just a loan, Max leaned forward, eyes bright. It's an investment in our future, in my future. I stood up slowly, my chair scraping against the hardwood floor. I need some air. Outside, my hands shook as I pulled out my phone and dialed. Soleil, it's time. Let's do Plan B. Look at this, I said, sliding my laptop across the coffee shop table to Tegan. My investment portfolio. 10 years of living like a college student while working in fintech. Her eyes widened. Holy shit, Nancy. That's 7 figures. Being boring pays well. I took a sip of my black coffee. And no one in my family has any idea. They're too busy watching Max's latest TikTok dance. Tegan leaned back, shaking her head. And they want you to co-sign a loan when you could buy the house outright? 3 times over. I pulled up another document. But I'm not telling them that. I'm doing something better. My phone buzzed. Soleil's name flashed on the screen. Nancy, I've got Silas on the other line. The bank's ready to play ball. I put her on speaker. Tell me. The loan officer practically jumped at our offer. Turns out Max's credit check raised some red flags. They were going to deny him anyway. A text from Mom lit up my phone. Sweetie, when can you come sign the papers? Max needs to put down a deposit on the studio space. I ignored it. Silas is preparing the paperwork under our shell company, Soleil continued. Once it's done, we'll transfer the deed to your name, clean and legal. How long? 48 hours, tops. Tegan grabbed my hand. Are you sure about this? It's going to blow up your entire family. I pulled up an old photo on my phone. Teenage me, standing in front of my bedroom door with tears in my eyes. The next day, that room became Max's recording studio. I slept on the couch for 6 months. They blew it up years ago, I said quietly. They just didn't notice because I kept picking up the pieces. My phone pinged again. The bank's notification, property transfer complete. I was now the legal owner of 1542 Maple Street, my childhood home, my house. Time for phase 2, I told Soleil. Draw up the lease agreement, make it ironclad. What about your family? Tegan asked. I closed my laptop with a snap. They're about to learn what happens when the reliable daughter finally snaps. Here we are, Dad said, spreading the loan documents across the dining room table. Just sign where the sticky tabs are, Nancy. Max lounged in his chair, scrolling through his phone. Mom hovered nervously by the china cabinet, clutching her ever-present glass of water. Before I sign, I pulled out my own folder. I'd like everyone to review these papers first. More bank forms? Dad frowned, reaching for them. Not exactly. I kept my voice steady. It's a lease agreement. A lease? Max finally looked up from his phone. What are you talking about? Dad adjusted his reading glasses, scanning the first page. His face went from confused to pale in seconds. Leaseholder, Nancy. His voice trailed off. Mom's water glass shattered on the hardwood floor. What the hell is this? Max snatched the paper from Dad's hands. I bought the house, I said simply. Last week. You're now my tenants. This is a joke, Dad stood up, his chair scraping backward. You can't possibly. I can, and I did. I pulled out my phone, showing them the property deed. The bank was quite happy to sell to someone with actual assets. You backstabbing little, Max started, but Mom cut him off. Nancy, honey, why would you do this to your own family? Family? I laughed, the sound harsh even to my own ears. Was it family when you took my college fund for Max's failed record label? When you kicked me out of my bedroom for his creative space? When you expected me to risk my financial future for his 10th get-rich-quick scheme? I'm calling a lawyer, Dad growled. Please do, I smiled. Soleil helped make this airtight. She sends her regards, by the way. Max threw the lease across the table. I'm not signing this. Then you'll need to vacate the premises in 30 days. I stood up, gathering my things. Your choice, but if you stay, there are rules. No pets, no unauthorized renovations, and monthly inspections. You've destroyed this family, Dad's voice shook with rage. My phone buzzed, a text from Soleil. Max just called the police, claims you committed fraud. Ready to proceed with Plan C? No, Dad, I said, heading for the door. I just stopped letting you destroy me. So you're alleging your sister committed fraud? Officer Martinez flipped through the documents spread across the station desk. She stole our house. Max slammed his hand down. She tricked us. By purchasing property through legal channels? The officer raised an eyebrow. With her own money? I sat quietly, Soleil beside me, watching my brother unravel. She knew we were getting a loan, Max's voice cracked. She deliberately exercised her right to buy property on the open market, Soleil interrupted smoothly. My client broke no laws. The sale was completely transparent. Dad paced behind Max, face red. She's trying to destroy your dreams, son. We won't let her. Dreams? I couldn't hold back anymore. You mean like the crypto mining operation that nearly burned down the garage? Or the energy drink brand that gave 3 people food poisoning? That wasn't my fault, Max protested. Jake mixed up the ingredients. Officers, Soleil cut in. Unless there are actual charges, we're done here. Martinez nodded. Everything appears legal, Mr. Fletcher. This is a civil matter, if anything. As we left the station, Dad grabbed my arm. Your mother hasn't stopped crying. Funny, I pulled away. She never cried when I needed her to. I'm going to fix this, Max called after me. You'll see. Back home, I found 3 missed calls from Mom. I clicked play on her voicemail. Nancy, please, I don't understand. Max is your brother. He just needs one more chance. He's so close to making it big this time. Delete, I told my phone, walking into my apartment. Harper from work was waiting with takeout. Heard you had a rough day. Thought you might need dinner and a friendly ear? My brother called the cops on me, I laughed, the sound hollow. My dad thinks I'm evil. My mom can't stop crying. And you know what? For the first time in my life, I don't care about fixing it for them. Good. Harper handed me a container of pad thai. Sometimes family needs to break before it can heal right. My phone buzzed again, Max posting on Instagram. When family betrays you, followers become your real siblings. Live stream tonight, exposing the truth. Let him try, I said, digging into my noodles. I've got receipts going back 20 years. And here's where my sister, the corporate snake, stabbed her own family in the back. Max's voice crackled through my phone as I watched his live stream. His follower count had dropped to triple digits. Dude, sounds like you tried to use her for money, someone commented. No, you don't understand. Max's face reddened. She's always been jealous of my success. I switched off the stream and drove to the house for the monthly inspection. The garden gate was hanging off its hinges. Jesus, Tegan whispered, following me through the destroyed flower beds. Your mom's roses. Every plant had been torn up, mulch scattered across the lawn. A crude message was spelled out with broken stems. Snake. Real mature, Max, I muttered, taking photos for documentation. The front door opened. Mom stood there looking smaller than I remembered. He did it last night, she said quietly. After his stream failed, he was drinking. And Dad? At a motel. She wrapped her arms around herself. He says he can't live under his daughter's roof. I walked through the house, noting new holes in the walls, empty beer bottles in the kitchen. Max's studio equipment consisted of a single ring light and his phone on a tripod. I don't know who he is anymore, Mom followed me. I keep thinking about that Christmas when he was 8, making those silly home movies. He was so genuine then. And I was 13, I turned to her, sleeping on the couch because he needed my room for his production company. Remember that, Mom. She flinched. I never meant to hurt me. You just never meant to see me at all. My phone buzzed. Security camera alert. Max was back, stumbling through the front yard with Jake and 3 other guys carrying cases of beer. Time to document another lease violation, I sighed, hitting record. Nancy, Mom caught my arm. What if you're right about everything? For a moment, I saw the mother I'd needed all those years, but Max's drunken laughter echoed from outside, and her eyes darted away, already retreating. Too late, Mom, I said, heading for the door. Way too late. Welcome to the Fletcher family rager. Max's voice boomed through speakers he'd set up in the backyard. Let's show my sister what happens when you mess with content creators. I watched through the security cameras as dozens of strangers poured into my property. Jake was collecting entrance fees at the gate. Calling the police? Harper asked, watching over my shoulder. Already done. I pulled up the lease agreement on my laptop and documenting everything for the eviction notice. The party grew wilder by the minute. Someone started a bonfire using my mother's garden furniture. Max stood on the roof, live streaming everything. Your brother's got balls, Tegan said, bringing me coffee. He's got nothing left to lose. I forwarded the footage to Soleil. That's what makes him dangerous. Police sirens wailed in the distance. On screen, partygoers scattered like roaches. Max stayed on the roof, swaying dangerously. Come on, sis, he shouted at the security camera. Come kick me out of my own home. Show everyone what a heartless Dad's voice cut through the chaos. Maxwell, get down from there. The camera caught him standing in the yard, still in his motel bathrobe. This isn't the way, son. No? Max laughed bitterly. Then what is? Being boring like Nancy? Working some soul-crushing job? At least she built something real. Mom's voice surprised us all. She stepped into frame, clutching her purse. I'm leaving, Leonard. I can't watch this anymore. Heidi, don't. Our son is having a drunken meltdown on our roof. Our daughter won't speak to us, and it's our fault. She turned to the camera. "I'm sorry, Nancy. I'm so sorry." Police officers flooded the yard. Max finally climbed down, handcuffs clicking around his wrists. "This is all your fault," Dad pointed at the camera. "You're tearing this family apart." I hit the intercom button, my voice echoing through the yard. "No, Dad, I just stopped carrying the weight of it alone." Through the camera, I watched Mom walk to her car, suitcase in hand. She didn't look back at Dad or Max. The notification popped up as I drafted the eviction notice. Property damage documented. Lease violations confirmed. Proceeding with removal of tenants? I clicked, yes. The house felt different, empty. My footsteps echoed through halls that once rang with Max's schemes and Dad's lectures. I ran my hand along the banister, remembering how many times I'd crept down these stairs, trying not to disturb their dreams while pursuing my own. The doorbell rang. Mom stood there looking lost. "The motel was booked," she said softly. "And Leonard's still there anyway." I stepped aside to let her in. "The guest room's available, but we need to talk first." We sat in the kitchen where just months ago they'd tried to pressure me into that loan. Mom stared into her tea. "I got a call from the police today," she said. "Max was arrested again, unpaid bills from his merchandise venture. Jake turned state's evidence." "And Dad?" "Still saying you destroyed everything." She looked up. "But it was already broken, wasn't it? We just couldn't see it through Max's spotlight." The doorbell rang again. Soleil stood there with a woman I didn't recognize. "Nancy, this is Rachel from Generational Stories Documentary Films. She's interested in your situation." Rachel stepped forward. "We're doing a series called Reverse Inheritance, Millennials Taking Back Their Legacy. Your story could help others stand up to financial abuse." "I'm not sure." "Tell them," Mom interrupted. "Tell them everything. Maybe it'll help another mother see what I couldn't." My phone buzzed. A text from Harper. "Dinner tonight? No family drama? Just us?" "The guest room is yours," I told Mom. "One condition. Complete honesty from now on, about everything." She nodded, tears spilling. "I have 20 years of truth to tell you." "Ms. Fletcher," Rachel said, "would you be willing to appear in the documentary too? Both perspectives could be powerful." I looked at Mom, seeing not the enabler who'd failed me, but a woman finally breaking free herself. "Let's do it," I said. "Not for revenge anymore, for healing." "And Max?" Mom asked quietly. "He'll have to find his own way now. We all do." Rachel smiled, pulling out her contract. "Should we start from the beginning?" I took one last look around the kitchen, where it had all started. "No, let's start from right now. And this is our main conference space." I gestured to the renovated living room, now filled with sleek furniture and tech stations. "We host weekly workshops for women in startups." The documentary crew filmed as young entrepreneurs filled the space, setting up laptops and sharing coffee. Mom moved among them, offering homemade muffins and advice about work-life balance. "Hard to believe this was once Max's failed studio," Harper said, squeezing my hand. The doorbell rang. Dad stood there looking older, more subdued. "The documentary airs tonight," he said. I thought, maybe we could watch it together. I studied his face. "As long as you're ready to hear the truth." "I've been seeing a therapist," he admitted. "She's helping me understand what I did to you." "To our family." Inside, Mom froze when she saw him, but instead of shrinking away, she straightened her spine. "Leonard," she nodded, "you're welcome to join us, as a guest." My phone buzzed, a text from Max. "Saw the preview, never realized. I'm sorry, in rehab now. Maybe someday." I put the phone away. Someday, maybe, but not today. "The next workshop is about financial independence," I told Dad. "You might learn something." He smiled sadly. "I already have. Watching you succeed without us, It taught me more than Max's schemes ever did. The room filled with chatter and energy. Young women shared stories, built connections, planned futures. In the corner, Mom led a discussion about recognizing self-worth. Was it worth it? Harper asked quietly. The revenge? I watched my father take a seat, humble and uncertain. Saw my mother standing tall, finally speaking her truth. Felt the weight of Max's apology in my pocket. It wasn't revenge, I realized. It was revolution. The documentary crew captured it all, the broken family portrait transforming into something new, something real. I don't believe revenge heals, I told the camera in our final interview. But sometimes it's the only thing that stops the bleeding, and once the bleeding stops, that's when the real healing can begin. The house was quiet now, but not with secrets. Quiet with peace, quiet with possibility. Finally, beautifully quiet.